Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon. Let us see
Good
those who
afternoon.
are here. Good afternoon. Okay, I guess is everybody who is aware we're already live? We're about 6 minutes behind the startup time.
Hello, Doctor.
Hello, madam. Good afternoon. How are you doing?
Fine, thank you, sir.
Good to know. Good to know. All right. How did it go today?
Yes, sir.
Especially with our one day, one task, one step towards your health goal. How did it go today for everyone?
Good. Good, sir.
That's good to know. All right, please let's let other people know. Let them connect right away. Uh, so let them know that we are started already. It's going to be a very brief one. So even while although it's going to be brief, we're going to talk about a few things as promised, and then we will also discuss about. Let's talk about our progress, what we've done, how we are doing. Yes. Let's-
Doctor, is Miss Oleta okay? She's not coming in today. She's not coming in. Miss Oleta, you didn't see her. She doesn't start the program every time.
Oh, so you mean saying that starting the program? So I'm starting the program today. I guess you'll be she might be joining us before the end of the program.
Okay.
She might be joining us before the end of the program. So I let her know that you're asking after, but she should be joining us before the end of the program. Okay. All right. So how did we do today? Today's task was to forgive someone. Right. So can we talk about that real quick? What did we do today? What was different? What did we release? Anybody's got an experience to share with us as regards this? Anyone?
Yeah, doctor. This is Fadlan Sanusi.
Okay.
Yeah, I believe one thing about forgiveness is like it's not really about forgiving somebody though. It's by relieving somebody's like you are relieving yourself from a bondage like because if somebody is holding grudges or having conflicts or whatever against somebody, which means I believe it's like you are holding things against yourself because you won't really move forward. But if you can just release everything and forgive whosoever offended you or whatever, I believe it's part of good life because holding grudges against somebody won't make people feel good. Even the person will not be happy with him or herself. I believe forgiving is like somebody is just relieving him or herself from problem of life, which I believe is good to forgive. Like for me, I don't have any grudges with anybody anyway. But we can't say that because I don't know. But nobody offends me, and I believe. Sorry for that. Oh, I believe it's okay to forgive. But for me, for today, um, I've forgiven whomsoever offends me. But I don't really have anybody do. But if I think I'm forgiving, that's it. And I relieve myself from the bondage of life. That's it. That's all I can say.
All right. Yeah, true. Um, the bearer of the offense seems to be the most negatively impacted in an atmosphere of unforgiveness, right? The offended, right? So let me use that word. The aggrieved person seems to be the most negatively impacted when there are offenses, and that is very true. One other thing is that someone said when you do not forgive someone, it's like you are giving them the privilege of having a space in your life that they never have to pay for. So people stay in your life for free. They rent an apartment in your house, in your life for free. Some people is a mansion that they've given to people in their life. Some are consumed by the bitterness, the extent of the offenses. Right. That is very true. Let's hear from somebody else. I will just take two more people and then we would discuss what and how this impacts the total or overall health of everyone. Yeah, one more person. Thank you for
Hi,
that
Doctor.
wonderful contribution. Yes, please. We're speaking. You tell us your
This is
name.
Yetunde.
Oh, okay. How are you, madam?
Very well, thank you, sir.
Awesome. Please go ahead.
Yeah, whilst I was being excited, I have no one on my hit list. A
Okay.
friend called me midday today, and then we went down memory lane, and then it happened.
Someone
There
called
was
you.
someone,
Someone called you today.
yeah, someone called me today, and we were just catching up on things, and
Okay.
it happened. She mentioned someone's name, and this was like 15 years ago,
Wow.
and she was like, you need to call this woman, oh. And my first reaction was like, no way.
Right. Okay.
Like, you really need to speak to this woman if you're still feeling like this. But to be honest with you, doctor, I don't even remember this incident until my friend mentioned it today.
Wow.
So I wouldn't really say I've held grudges for this person. There was just an incident which I felt we've not tackled, and it's just been hanging there.
Right.
So from deliberation with the person I spoke to, I'll make that step.
Awesome.
I still need to find the lady's number. I didn't have a number. I still need to find the lady's number.
Wow.
And reach out to just let that go.
Awesome.
So that's my experience today.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good one. In your own case, they are not living in your heart because you kind of let it go, so to speak. Like it doesn't bother you. It never bothered you until probably somebody referred to it today, and then you remember there was something, Yeah, that also is important. There are times that we be like, well, this person doesn't even. They have no impact. They have no relevance in my life, so I don't even care. Let them just let them go, and then we leave it unresolved. In Africa, especially, we have a problem with having some difficult conversations. I think I shared this in one of the boot camps where I said our inability to hold some very difficult conversations lead to accumulation, like an accumulation of issues. So issues keep building up until it gets to a point where it gets to the tipping point where they become unmanageable and then things explode. It's like an African way of everybody just we play the ostrich, so to speak. Like nobody wants to address the elephant in the room because we do not want to offend each other, and instead of addressing the issue we overlook it and then we let it slide. But nothing slides because what we overlook today is just a matter of time. It's waiting for the right opportunity or time for it to shoot up. So sometimes we need to do like a search and address unresolved issues, because if we leave issues unresolved, we do not know when they will be resurfaced, and when they resurface, that becomes a major challenge. Right, so we do not want to leave issues unresolved. Let's address issues, and as much as we can. As much as we can. The Holy Book, the Bible tells us this. It says that as much as it lies within us, it says, follow peace with all men. I know there are people that are unpeaceable. I know there are people that they are they're just impossible. There are such people. But that's the reason he said, as much as it lies within us. So let it be confirmed that You have played your own role, you've done your part in order to maintain and achieve peace. Okay, so one more person. Should I call names? Galaxy A70. Galaxy A70.
Hello? Hello,
Hello.
everyone. Good evening, doctor.
Hello, good evening, ma'am. Who is speaking, please?
It's Efuyemi Showme.
Oh, why? We're always calling you every day now. Okay. All
Yeah.
right. Okay. So let's hear from you.
Yeah, what I did, like, just like the other lady said that she had no one on her hit list.
Okay.
Yeah, I sat down. I couldn't think of anyone that I was angry against, actually.
Right.
So I thought to the left, right. I couldn't really figure it. So what I just did, I just said a quick prayer. The Lord, peradventure there's anyone who offended me or who I've not forgiven, I release the person. I totally forgive whoever the person might be. And that's how I left it.
Good. Awesome. So thank God we have so many good people on this group. I mean, that's
It's only by
very
His
good.
grace, actually. It's only by His grace because I like my sleep. And I don't want extra headache, extra burden when I go to bed. So
Oh,
my job is stressful enough. So I don't need extra.
right. That's a very strong and vital point.
So
I
that's it.
one of the things I was in a conversation yesterday and I told someone that I have learned in life to walk away. It's a gift. It's everybody who's got that gift. Um, the ability to walk away from anything. I mean, some people never were able to walk away and they walked into their death. They look at what they are going to lose and they feel like this is a whole lot. The truth is, if you die today, there is nothing you are taking with you. Nothing you are taking along with you. You're going to drop everything. I love the way the Muslims, the Islamic faith, the way they bury their dead. Like complete nakedness. No leisure or luxury of some expensive coffins like people from Ghana. You know the way people from Ghana they bury their dead body. They could construct an entire vehicle, a car, and put the dead body in the car. Like when that person gets to the world beyond, he's going to be able to use the vehicle. Some in our culture in Africa, they are buried with money. Some are buried with expensive vehicles. Some are buried with slaves and servants. Like when the king dies, they believe the slaves will serve the king in the afterlife, which is a whole lie. By the time they get to that other life, both the slave and the king, they both have one fate and one destiny based on whatever they did in this life. Right. So the point is that there is nothing we have brought into this world, and there is nothing we're taking out of this world. So sometimes it's so important for us to sit back and release people intentionally, not because of them, like what Miss Fadlat said, not because of them, but because of you. Because of you. If you look around us today and see the happenings around us, it's becoming like, in fact, when you open social media right now, it's becoming like an obituary page where the person you spoke with yesterday or the person you last heard from a year ago, and that's the last time you guys had a contact, you just see that they flashing the person's obituary right there. Oh, he's gone. He's gone. He's this and that. Like what one wise person said, that today is what we have. Tomorrow is not promised. Tomorrow is not promised. How do you sleep at night and how do you want to leave this world knowing that there are people you have in your mind, in your heart that you never released? You don't know what is going to happen tomorrow. And so that is why the advice to forgive is very important. And now, for our spiritual journey, forgiveness is very key. For our mental health, forgiveness is very key. And for our overall health, forgiveness is very, very key. So what have we discovered medically? Now, I was speaking yesterday about the mind-body connection and how our emotions affect or impact on the state of our health. I listed about 5 areas where and how our emotions can determine the outcomes of our health. Not do they only determine the outcome of our health, they also determine largely how effective therapies, medications, treatments, diet, and lifestyle adjustment they're going to work in our lives. Are you surprised when you see a group like this, like we're guarding people, and then people come together, we make recommendations for everyone, and after the whole thing, you find some people still not responding positively to the recommendations that have been made. I'm not saying that happens in all of the time, but that is very possible. So you wonder why did this work for this person and it's not working for this other person? Sometimes we need to sit back and begin to ask questions like, okay, what exactly is responsible? What could be the reason for this scenario in people? And what medical sciences had also discovered, there are studies to prove that, especially when it comes to treatment of cancer, oncologists have also known that the state of mind of various people determine how fast they're going to recover from ailments. It determines sometimes how fast they are going to, or how well they're going to respond to treatments that are given to them. There are people that would never respond well. There are those that their response time will be very fast, and before you know it, they are out of that thing. I remember very well in some of our studies with people who have dementia, you see that their true nature is what they manifest when they begin to express the very symptoms of dementia. If they are very unforgiving, if they are very bitter people, they're going to be expressing that bitterness. Okay, so many of us might not understand how it works, what dementia people go through. It gets as bad as they cannot even control their bowel movement, and then you see somebody ad-libbed with one before, a PhD holder, yeah, and at the latter stage of her life, as she went through dementia, she will poop on her body. They cannot even, if you put any clothes on them, they remove all the clothes. They remove everything. They don't even know what it is. They could go ahead and begin to break that. So that is where what their nature, their character, their person, when they were not having that condition, what their person is will be reviewed and expressed. So you could see someone carrying, breaking every furniture in the house, tearing paper. Everything that can be torn will be torn. TV screen can be broken. All kind of very violent behaviors can be manifested. But this violence they manifest is a reflection of who they are on the inside. So that is what that dementia is throwing up in them. This has been the cases. It has been the case, for several people who have that condition. All right. So they might not reflect that in their normal self, but deep down within them, that is who they are. And so when that condition comes upon them, they begin to act it out. Then you begin to hear all kinds of things that are unbelievable. You will hear people curse out their own children. You will hear people say terrible things about their spouses. Right. In some of these cases, they do those things because these were things that they never resolved. Unforgiving things that they kept at heart in their mind. So that happens in the case of dementia. And it could also happen in several other mental health issues. Right. Which is the reason we want to even raise our children to be void of any kind of bitterness, The environment through which we raise our kids should be that environment that is healthy. It should be that environment where our children can find joy, fulfillment. They should live free. When a child is able to hold grudges for 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, that's a dangerous trait. That is something to be arrested right from that youthful age, because it starts from there. Normally, for every child, if a child is offended, they talk about it. In the next few minutes, they started playing together again. That is the mind of a child. But when a child is departing from that, that is a serious departure that needs to be addressed right on time, because it could go ahead and spread into so many things in later years in the life of that young fellow. So we don't want to raise our children that way. We want to nip that in the bud. So the same applies, right? That is on the part of mental health. What about how we react to treatments, supplements, medications, therapies? Now, bitterness has been known to slow down the rate at which our body recovers from major injuries, disease conditions, and the likes of that. And we need to be careful, because nobody knows. There's an adage that says that death doesn't give a time or gives you a warning when it's going to strike. Neither does disease or ill health tells you this is when it's going to strike. The reason you have to prepare your mind and ensure that your mind is in a good place, right? So what studies have shown is that for people who have bitterness, who have a negative emotion within them, it's like their body just slows down. Now, when you inject or when things that could help them to recover from whatever comes around, the body just refuses to respond or to act on them. So by the time the body is picking up to act on them, those things are no longer valid. Probably their potency is already reduced. Now, why does that happen? Why doesn't the body act on them as when those things were injected or passed across into the body? It's because bitterness and all these negative emotions, they have a way of creating an upsurge of negative hormones, probably hormones in your body that will go into overdrive. And when they get into overdrive, they begin to produce certain things. Now, the body is now saddled with the responsibility of mopping up all of those hormones, right? So instead of the body to focus on reversal, the body is focusing on mopping those negative hormones or those hormones that have gone into overdrive in your body. So by the time the body is done removing all the negative, all the hormones that have gone into excess, the nutrient factors that have been projected into your system to bring about healing, their potency is already reduced. So that happens several times. I remember the story of a woman. This woman is known to use swear words, negative words. She would curse anybody out. And so her daughter was going to get married. And then at the place where they are going to get married, they said, "Wow, so this woman is your mother." They told the daughter that this woman is your mother. She said, "Yes, that's my mother." "Ah, no. What we have heard about your family, about your mother, is that she curses everybody out. She uses swear word and all of that." Guess what the woman would say next? The woman said, "Whoever said that about me," she began to curse out the person. How can anyone say that about me? What they just said about her, she began to act it out right there and then. Why? That is second nature to her. And now when people live that way, it's impossible for them to live long. They are reducing their own longevity potential just because of that attitude, just because of something they are doing. Because they do not have emotional intelligence to control themselves and control their emotions. It's not like we don't get hurt. It's not like people don't get to offend us, but we choose our response to every offense. If you cannot choose your response and determine how you respond to life, then life is going to begin to play you up and down. And that is what happens in most cases to people who are bitter, who hold on, unforgiveness. That we will not be offended is impossible. That people will not betray us is impossible. We cannot control people's actions towards us, but we can control our reactions to whatever they do to us. And our reactions should always be to stay positive and never allow whatever they do to us drag us down. Many people today, many folks today are being dragged down because of the negative emotions, because of the unforgiveness and bitterness that people throw at them. So what are people throwing at you that could affect your health negatively, that could impact your health negatively? Another study has shown that unforgiveness and bitterness can actually lead to inflammation. I remember what I said in one of our classes, that inflammation is at the background of several conditions. Now, when the body is inflamed, now let me give you some quick example of inflammation. I will mention a few conditions. Number one is arthritis, which is an inflammation that happens in people's feet, joints, bones. Now, so studies have revealed that inflammation can be precipitated just because people hold grudges, they have some bitterness within them. Arthritis is not the only inflammation. There are several other ones, several other inflammation. So I gave you the key. So when you hear the name of any condition and it ends with IS, that IS means that that condition is as a result of inflammation. So your body gets inflamed because your emotions are inflamed. So one way or the other, it also inflames some other parts of your body. So you want to work and pay attention to what you do and how you react and respond to people's reactions or behaviors towards you. And there are many. It can come in several ways. I usually like to talk about couples, relationships, and what happens in relationships, because the closest person to you or the closest people to you, they are in many cases the most likely people to hurt you the most. All right. If anybody tells you, use a swear word or you curse you out, it could be hurtful, it could hurt you, but it's going to be more painful if that statement, if that negative statement is coming from someone that is your spouse or somebody who means a lot to you. So in many cases, people's bitterness are found from their offenses, from the offenses of people who are close to them. Either their spouses, their business partners, their children, their parents. I've met someone who had said she has carried the grudges from her father for almost 15 years and was not willing to change. She felt like, oh no, there is no way I can ever forgive this. And I said, well, it's a choice. You can decide to hold on to this for the rest of your life and even go to your grave with it. But your father, who you hold like this in this kind of mind or whatever, does not even know what you are actually going through. He's living his own life, enjoying his meals, eating his own food. You are the one who is carrying all of this burden in your heart. So why don't you just let it go and live a free life? Right? And I said at the beginning that what happens to most people is their inability to have some difficult conversations. Now, many people do not know how to have difficult conversations. I talk about marriages again. Now, there is a case of a man who is going through some unnecessary pressure because his wife had refused to tell the mother to cut short her stay. Now, you see, your mom comes into the house and she's spending 1 week. 1 week is turning to 2 weeks. 3 weeks is turning to 4 weeks. 4 weeks is turning to 2 months. And now, your financial ability at the moment cannot even sustain what is going on. In most cases, we don't know who wants to have that conversation. Some people will be like, well, if she tells her mom, and then her mom will see me as a bad person. And it's either way, actually. For the woman as well, it can be like it is the husband, mother, or relative that is come to stay with them. And then the wife will be like, if he tells them to go, then I'll be the bad person. So I don't want to be the bad person. Then you keep living in the house, offenses flying from right to left. Somebody is looking into the pot of soup and be like, who is cooking this? Somebody is telling you don't know how to cook. Somebody is telling you that there is so much salt and all of that. All kinds of offenses that could have been resolved by one simple conversation. And what is that conversation? Mama, when are you leaving? It's a difficult conversation, but sometimes it saves you from a whole lot of stress. There are several ways to get by the conversation. And one of the keys of holding difficult conversation is that before you hold the conversation, have several options and solutions. For example, if you want her to leave, what are the options you have on the ground? Where is she going? Is it possible she has somewhere else you can actually tell her to go stay? Can you create an event that will move her out of that place? So while you're having that conversation, make it known. Don't dodge the fact that When she was coming, she said she would stay for a week, but now she's overstaying. She's almost staying for 2 months, right? And after you have stressed that, let it be known as well that, well, these are the options. These are the places you can go. This is what you want to do. This is what you want to do. You can even start from the solutions and then end it at the fact that this shouldn't be the extent of your stay with us. I just use that as an example. I don't know how practicable that is and how that can work for anyone. But we avoid several difficult conversations. Conversations between spouses, conversations between business partners, conversations between friends, and loved ones, because we do not want to hurt them. We keep quiet and then we take everything. We're like the dumping ground where they dump all these things. They are not beneficial to our health. On the long run, it's not something you want to really hold. You want to sit back and release these people and let them know that, well, you offended me. I have thought about it, but I have moved on. I forgive you. Those conversations are very, very necessary. Number 4, I've mentioned 3 if you don't know. Number 4, how does unforgiveness, how does it affect your health? How does it impact on your health? Now, this is what science has also found out. And you can do a study yourself. Number 4 is that whenever the issue of the person that has offended you comes up, either you see that fellow or the thought of that offense comes up in your mind, check your heartbeats. It is noticed that your heart is going to be beating faster than normal. So what does that tell you? That is a pressure being placed upon your heart, your cardiovascular health. It could give you high blood pressure. Number 5 is the impact of this even on your gut health. Whenever the issue of somebody who offends you comes up that you have not forgiven comes up, the walls of your stomach get tightened. The pH level of your stomach becomes imbalanced. So the balance is tilted. That is what happens. If you are angry, number 1, you are raising your voice. You are, sometimes the stomach ache is so evident that you have this stomach aching feeling. What is happening is that the pH level of your stomach has been altered. Now, when the pH level of the stomach is altered, that is a breeding ground for ulcers to happen. So when people have ulcer, it's because the pH level of the stomach is altered, and then the Helicobacter pylori, which is the microorganism responsible for ulcer, finds a very good place to grow and breed in that person's stomach. I'm not saying it is everybody who's got ulcer that has issues with unforgiveness. Don't quote me wrong, but I'm only saying it is a possibility. It is something that happens. And then you want to look at your life. If you're having ulcer, just check very well. Are you having anybody? Have you forgiven everybody you should forgive? Do things get to you, get at you? And then you are easy to respond and all of that. Because I've met people who be like, and I eat well. I don't have anything about food, but I don't understand this ulcer pain. Some people even feel it to their back and stuff like that. It could just be like a pressure that you need to take off your mind. Some burdens of relationships, some burdens of what you need to take off your mind. And the moment you do that, the treatment for ulcer becomes effective. And before you know it, you are free, you are healed from there. Because I've seen people who had chronic ulcer that they've treated for years. And I keep saying, there is no reason anyone should carry ulcer for more than 3-4 years. What, 2-3 years? What are you doing with it? The treatment for it is not that difficult, right? But people handle that 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, and they keep going on the treatment forever, like it's going to be something that they can't get rid of, like something that has come to stay and be a part of their life. You may want to pay attention to what is tilting the acid-alkaline balance of your stomach health. It could be sudden stress, pressure that is coming upon you based on relationship factors, based on issues of based on issues of unforgiveness and all of that. It's Dr. Ajayi who's sending me a message. Okay, so all right, so all this can happen. So you want to resolve all of these things. so that you can enjoy your health, so that you can also maximize programs like these that you are doing, that you are running. They can be effective. And we are not saying do this as a one-time thing. It is something that you should make a part of your life, something you should do every now and again. So for the benefit of your own health, something you should review, let nothing get to you to the point that you don't want to see eyeball to eyeball with that person, to the point that you don't even want to. I know people who do that as well. They don't even want to hear that person's name near them. They don't want to, Mrs. Fatima Okuno, good evening, ma. They don't want to hear that person's name at all near them. They don't want to, the mention of that person scares them, so they don't want it at all. It could be something you need to pay attention to. All right? So with these 4 points of mine, I hope I've been able to convince you and not confuse you that forgiveness is one of the key things you need to do to maximize your health, to help your health to function optimally. All right. Thank you very much. I don't think there should be any question on that. I'm not saying there shouldn't be. If you have any question or something you want to say about that, I will give you like 2 minutes to say that. Then I'll talk about the challenge for tomorrow. Anybody, please.
Hello.
Yes, please.
Hello, sir.
Hello, sir. Who is speaking?
It's Sonny.
Oh,
Good evening.
yeah. Good evening,
So
Prof.
from what have you here, I'm sorry for joining late, but I go and check it on the Facebook,
Okay.
whatever you have discussed today.
All right.
And I want to, we have a situation actually,
Okay,
with
sir.
what is going on in Nigeria.
Okay.
Is it possible the issue of course, I'm not affected directly. When some people decide, okay, is the Nigeria belongs to them. People who have been nomads, they didn't have any place. They started from one country, started coming towards Africa. They fought in other countries. They are starting our own.
Oh,
And
my
these
good
people
God.
are murderers. They have no respect for life. You see, the person that has been raped, it's a mental problem for life most of the time. Especially with the white people here. Some of them don't get over it. So under such conditions, and I know it's good to forgive, but you do the past for somebody who is doing that should be brought to book and chastised. You have punishment. You don't say you have like in the UK now, no more Europe, no more death penalty. But the person can languish in jail. Yeah, they don't. But in Nigeria, we don't have democracy in the first place. So that one is so bad. When you listen to all those things, you get fumed up. People who they are not eating anything from the government. They go there, burn the houses, kill people, did everything like that.
Sure.
And these are even most of them, maybe our own people. I mean the Yorubas. It's not Fulani that will be so bold to come around. They were looting. I don't know the area. It's already on the internet.
Wow.
So those people just be forgiven. Go out there, continue to do it.
All right. So thank you so much, Prof. Let me say this.
Don't be now. I'm not affected, but the thing is staining me. I don't except they want to fight with me. I don't have people somebody can fight. But I share people. I have my mother,
Right.
my old mother is at home, and then so that you start to worry. They burnt houses with people inside. They managed to escape. What about an old woman that cannot run?
That cannot run. Okay.
So that's it.
Yeah,
The issue of forgiveness may not be to me. I believe. I'm sure. I didn't hear it from the beginning. Should not be in the entirety. Somebody is his way. Wicked.
Right.
Better the person is locked up. It's like
Right.
somebody having cancer. You better remove that cancer in time before it extends to other parts of the body.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much for that contribution.
It's a very good program. What you told us today is good.
I'm going to throw that to the jury. I'm going to throw that out for people to decide. It's a very good question. Let's ask. So when you forgive people, does it absolve them of the consequences of what they have done? So I guess that is what Prof is trying to say there. I also believe, personally, you choose to forgive, but that does not mean that the law shouldn't take its course. Right. Yeah. Especially when some cases are criminal cases, they are violation not just of a person's human right, but they are also violation of the laws of the land. For example, if an armed robber comes into my property and then I call in the cops come in to arrest the armed robber. I forgive the armed robber instantly. I've forgiven you before you stole anything from my house. So whatever you have, your case is not between you and the state. It's no longer my case. It's between you and the state. So the state will prosecute. So, and if you want to be a witness, I will come and say what I have seen, because if I did not come to see what I have seen or what I've experienced, I can also be liable, like I'm also like an accomplice. So, but I will forgive you. But it does not absolve you if the state says they want to go ahead to punish them. The state have all the rights to do that. And like in the case of all these people going about doing some evil things, and like Prof said, rape is something that is a trauma that is like a tattoo on someone's emotions. What I will also counsel is that if you think it's difficult for you to forgive a particular matter because of what has been done, please seek professional help. There are so many things that can be done to help you to go past that. I also would recommend a few herbs that can also be helpful to help such people that are having such such feelings. We have some herbs that can do that one. Right. So I'm seeing a hand raised up. I want to see who this hand is. Wow. They are not showing me. I see the hand. Okay. Mrs. Makinde Olufisayo. All right. Miss Abigail is also raising up her hand. I will give you 2 minutes each. All right. So I'm going to throw it out that, okay, you make that contribution. So you may need to seek professional help. Especially if it's a case like the case of rape. It's a serious violation, serious emotional violation that may require counseling. So many people do not go for counseling. They cover it up, and covering it up is terrible. Rape is just one of it. Domestic abuse is also a very serious one that people find too difficult to forgive. I have a case I'm handling right now, and for the last 3 weeks, the people involved, I've not been able to speak with one party. I've only been speaking with one party. And then it was just today that the other party I've been speaking with mentioned the aspect of domestic violence. In most cases, people who suffer from domestic violence, they feel like they are at fault. Many times, they can't even tell people that this is what they are going through. And this is another warning, because people feel like it is people who are uneducated, people who are less privileged, only women. I'm not saying it's not gender sensitive right now. So there are men who are going through domestic abuse in their own homes. There are women who are also going through it. So it's not peculiar to women alone. But you discover that it's people who are educated, people who are enlightened, people who have a position, who have a status, that are suffering domestic abuse in silence. No one to talk to, no one to confide in. So they go through it quietly, and they come out, they rub their face, they look like nothing is happening. You need help in that way, because that alone is a killer. You've just swallowed poison within you. And I'm so bold. My stand when it comes to domestic abuse in marriages is so clear. It's a ground for me to say divorce is inevitable. I don't even care whoever told you that's your wife. As long as abuse is there, the moment you tell me abuse is there, everything is cancelled. I don't even want to do anything again, because that guy is not human. That woman is not human. That is what I learned from the Holy Books. It says that no one would hate his own body to the point of eating his own body. So the moment somebody can carry his hand and begin to break the chair on his own head, is that person normal any longer? No, now that person should be referred to the psychiatric home for mental evaluation. That is my conclusion. And marriage is not for people who are not in the right state frame of mind. Whoever will raise up a hand, somebody asked me a question today and say, are you saying you have never raised a hand against a woman before in your life? I said, God forbid. He said, seriously? I said, yes. She couldn't believe it, because all the people she has seen probably in her life, they've been abusive. And I gave her an instance. Said a lady abused my parents in my presence. And somebody said, hey, if I were the one, I will break her head. And my father said, we never raise our children that way. End of story. End of story. I mean, what else could, because if you enter into marriages, you will hear what led to the confrontation. I mean, how issues, they have issues before, how it turns violent, it starts when somebody says, your mother, your father. That is where it starts. And someone say, how can you talk that way about my mother and my father? Then the next thing is a slap. It's not even enough for me to raise my hand against anybody. No. That person has only shown and displayed how uncouth, how untrained, how ill-mannered. That person has only displayed the deficiencies of our own parents or his own parents, quote and unquote. So whatever that person has said about my parents is not about my parents, it's just talking about their own parents, because that's how much they value their own parents. So it's not for me to confirm what they have said, because if I now raise my hand, it's like I'm confirming what that person just said about my parents. So, just pass it across and just move on. Right? So if somebody is going through such an abusive relationship, I will recommend counseling. Please, first of all, get a safe place for yourself. You are not safe. The rate of people who are dying in marriages is on the increase these days. I mean, it's uncalled for. It's not necessary. And all of these we also add up to the issues that we are talking about. Let me allow I don't know whether that's a male or a female, Makinde Olufisayo, because the videos are switched off, so we can't really know who is talking. So you will do us a favor if you let us, release your video. All right. So who is behind the name? Go ahead, please.
Okay. This is Makinde Fisayo, is a female.
Okay, she's a female. That's good. Thank you. All right.
Okay. What I wanted to say is that I was just reacting to what Prof said about people that are very violent and you find it very hard to forgive.
Right.
So I think in any case, just like you rightly said as you were rounding up on the issue around abuse, is that from the holy books, at the point when Jesus was being persecuted and being beaten, he said something that was very striking to me. And if there's any reason why I let people go, is that statement he made that Father forgive them for they do not know what they are doing. So again, it's a level of understanding that they have that make them behave the way they behave. People behave better when they have better understanding of how things should be. And again, look at the system in which things are happening. Everybody is a product of a system. So you do not expect people to behave better than the system in which they are raised. So most of these boys are talking about here are raised. These are the young boys that we refused to send to school some years back. They were raised in an environment where was very hostile. They grew up to be very harsh. So how do you expect better from them?
True. Very true.
Someone says that if you bring out a product from somewhere and you fix the symptom of that product, and you take that same product.
Wow. Is that network?
These issues are not really those people. It's a combination of a lot of things, which if you take it on them, you'll be doing yourself a lot more harm by not even understanding that there are issues that they are also dealing with that's making them behave the way they behave. Excuses for you. So my boss walks in the morning and shouts on me, oh, something is wrong with it. I just tell myself, wow, he's had it hot with his wife in the morning. He needs to take it on someone. Unfortunately, I'm the one. I explain it out somehow in my brain and I let it go. And by that, I'm able to just release people. I kind of pity them a lot more than feel bad about what they are doing, because some things are wrong somewhere. And it will help us a lot, even deal with people with more empathy
than taking it on them and trying to be revengeful, because two wrongs can never make a right.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Mrs. Makide. That's very insightful. Again, we pay attention to the community, the communal parenting method, which actually is now being abandoned for the Western way of "is my child, not your child." You can't, before now it's like it takes an entire community to raise a child. And there are so many children who are out there who are not receiving the right training. And everybody is looking the other way. They're going to come back as a product of the system to haunt the system. So we'll find that as well. All right. And another point you made, which also I've also found in so many people who go through abusive relationships, is that they try to excuse the behavior. And I will be like, no. In fact, if you are speaking with me again, another thing I also want to point out, maybe I shouldn't say that so people will not begin to hide all of these things if they're talking to you. The moment you're speaking with me and you're trying to excuse the behavior of an abuser, I really pick it up immediately that you actually need therapy. Because that is the case. In most cases, you find the people who are being abused, they excuse it out. They look for a reason for those people to do what they do. Somebody might say, oh, yeah, he wasn't well brought up. You had a rough childhood. Oh, yes. That's not an excuse. Nothing is good enough to excuse wrong behavior. Wrong patterns. Nothing is good enough. Mrs. Abigail Ajiri, let's have you. 2 minutes.
Yeah, I just want to add up that two of my sisters were saying, oh, I thank God I don't have any bitterness. We thank God for that. But here is the case. There are people out there, like abandonment. A child, maybe 6 months, doesn't know her mom. Not that the person wants to be a bitter person, but he's going through a term that he cannot do anything. And our society in Africa doesn't even help to help that child to be that child. And the child has grown and that thing is there. So we have to be praying for people. If you don't have that issue, thank God. You have to thank your God that, oh God, I thank you, because people are going through, like my brother also said, people are going through a lot. If you listen to people, what they are going through, the bitterness, they wish they can live it there. It's like, it's a baggage because of what they've gone through. Abandonment, rejection, so many things, rape. So if you not pass through that stage, just thank your God, thank your parent that, oh, I'm blessed. Because it's not easy to deal with these things.
All right. Thank you. So that will lead to our task for tomorrow. And the task for tomorrow is to intentionally put a smile on someone's face. Now, okay, so let me come from the angle of Christians that will believe, even in Islam, one of the 5 pillars of the Islamic faith is to give. We call it giving of alms. That's what it's called. The secret there is because we mystify it and we say you sow seed and then you have a lot in return. And that is when we mystify it. But it's a principle of life and of nature. That when you give out, especially when you give what makes other people happy, there is something it does to you. It's more than money. It's more than what money can buy. That joy, that achievement alone, that feeling, that experience you've enabled, in someone's mind, has a long way to help you to work in your own favor as well. So tomorrow, put a smile on somebody's face. Maybe somebody will put a smile on my face tomorrow. My smile can be very expensive. That's just a joke anyway. It could be any smile. Just think about it. Be intentional about it. That, look, who am I going to put it? Like what Mr. Abigail Ajiri said now. We look around us. There is so much going on in our world. And every day it's not like it's getting any better. The news are not encouraging. A lot is going on, and people are mourning, people are grieving, people are bitter. People are going through stuff. You want to do something. Go out of your way, be intentional about it, reach out to someone, give the person a new message. Make the person smile, make that person laugh. It could be anybody. It could be that security man. It could be the man who sits at the gate. It could be the woman you buy stuff from. Like somebody said that middle income people, they go to superstores. They don't price whatever they give to them. They just buy it and go away. But when they are buying from poor women, they are buying from them. It's then they begin to negotiate and give some ridiculous offers. These are women who need this money more than those big corporations you are giving your money to. So it could be that woman who displays or wears something, just something simple. It shouldn't cost you $1 billion to achieve. Just go out of your way to put a smile on someone's face, and that will be the task for tomorrow. I want to apologize to our participants from US and Canada this morning. We couldn't come live as we ought to. I really want to apologize for that. That was my own fault. I don't know what happened. My alarm just refused to wake me up. I don't know what happened. And when my body decided to wake up, it was already 20 minutes past the time. But my body woke up actually. My body got up about 12 minutes past 4. I was like, what? Okay, so tomorrow morning we'll be back. 6 a.m. UK time, 6 a.m. for everybody. Coach Tokumba is going to be around tomorrow. And please, I'm saying this again, take all these sessions seriously. You can go back and watch those sessions and do them, and you will see the effect and the impact on your health and on your body. If you're interested in joining the boot camp that will be coming up in March, that is our weight loss or weight management boot camp. I hate to call it weight loss, weight management boot camp. So that will be coming up in March, from the 1st of March to the 28th of March. It's going to be for 4 weeks. And then the Healthy Living, the Nutraceutical Health College, the Enthusiast class, that is going to come up in March also. The first 4 weekends in March will be for the college. And that's the Enthusiast class. All graduates will be awarded certificates for attending this class. It's meant to help you to know the basics, like your introductory course or program into healthy living. And all the prices for these programs have been heavily discounted. I can say that boldly. They have all been heavily discounted. If I tell you the price, the people that attended previous sessions will be like, they cheated us. But let the word go around. Let people just, let's help people. Let's put a smile on people's face. So that's how far we go for today. I want to thank you all for taking our time to be with us on the program today. And then we hope to meet again tomorrow morning, where we are going to have the fitness session, and then we'll converge in the evening for another life therapy session. Thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of your day, if it's still a day at your side. And if you are going to bed, I pray that you have a restful evening. Thank you very much. God bless.
Thank you.
Okay, bye.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. All right, so that's it. Our audience, join us on Facebook and YouTube. This is how far we go for today. Thank you for joining us. We just call out our friends on Zoom. All right, bye-bye.